The room she couldn't escape. What Virginia Woolf teaches us about mothers, memory, and the self. Before she was a writer, Virginia Woolf was a daughter, a sister, a woman, and a soul in quiet pain. Her words echoed from rooms she could not escape, and rooms she longed to create. A room of one's own was not a luxury. It was a lifeline, a way to stay whole. Virginia Woolf's story is often told as one of brilliance and tragedy. A woman ahead of her time, a genius who gave voice to silence, a mind too sensitive for the world she lived in. But behind the fame and the books was someone simply searching for a place to be, not just to write, to breathe, to feel, to exist. Woolf grew up in a home full of books, but also full of silence. Her father, Leslie Stephen, was an intellectual, dignified, distant. Her mother, Julia, beautiful and devoted, but emotionally unreachable. Virginia lost her mother when she was just 13. It shattered her. No one asked how she felt. No one gave her space to grieve. She broke quietly, and was expected to stay composed. Later, she suffered repeated abuse from her stepbrothers, and no one listened, so she turned to pages. "I cried in words," she might have said, and the words never stopped. Her most famous line is almost simple. A woman must have money and a room of her own if she is to write. But what she meant was far greater. It wasn't just about a desk and a door. It was about safety, autonomy, sanity. A room of one's own is not just for writing. It is where the self can stretch, can hurt, can breathe, without apology. And today, in a world still asking women to be everything for everyone, her whisper is louder than ever. A room for mothers. Motherhood is devotion. It is beauty. It is sacrifice. But sometimes, it becomes erasure. We give so much, we forget what we look like without the giving. Woolf's room is not a room with walls. It is an emotional shelter. And yes, a mother needs it, too. If a mother has no room of her own, how can she offer warmth to her child? If she cannot find space for her grief, her joy, her fear, how can she hold her child's? Psychologist John Bowlby once wrote, "A child reaches for someone to keep them safe. If no one holds their hand, they grow up afraid." Virginia Woolf lived that truth. She reached. No one reached back, so she built her own world. In fiction, psychotherapist Donald Winnicott added, "A child doesn't need a perfect mother, just a good enough one who sees and responds to their feelings." Virginia's world never gave her that, so she became that voice. For others, the love that wasn't enough. Her husband, Leonard Woolf, loved her. Truly, he walked with her, cared for her. She wrote to him in her final letter, "You have given me the greatest happiness. I don't think two people could have been happier than we have been." And yet, deep wounds resist even honest love. Sometimes, the love that saves one person cannot undo the silence another carries. The room we all need. Virginia's room is more than metaphor. It is memory, permission, sanctuary. It is what we owe to ourselves and to our children, because the best gift we can give a child is not love that saves them later, but love that made them feel safe from the start. We must not wait until we break to seek a room of our own. We must not wait until we forget who we are to try and remember. You are still here, and you deserve a room, not just to survive, but to live.